Hey guys, Ramblin Bob here again. So I guess Bluetti dropped a new power station today. It's called the AC80. Let's take a look and see what it has. It looks like a new sleek little design, but I guess there's a lot of power in that box. Let's see what it says. Alright, so we're going down here. Dun, 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 dun. Completely compatible in a small size. Built for outdoor adventures, the AC60 is an all-weather solar generator. Wow, that's different, guys. All-weather. Supplying 600 watts power from its 403 watt-hour LFP battery. That's lithium iron phosphate. I thought it was going to be a little bit bigger than that, but I guess it's only 403 watt-hours, which can be which can be expanded to 2015 watt-hours. Now you're talking. That's like a mid-range power station, guys. With super fast charging, you can stay powered for long periods in the wild. Full charge in 1.2 hours. If they're referring to the full 2,000 watt hours and you can charge it that fast, fantastic. If they're talking about just the 400 watt hours, that's kind of normal. Smart app control, I do like that. Multiple outlets, of course. 1200 watt lifting power. 45 decibel quiet operation. That's where it kind of tones down the input on the AC, so you can kind of leave it in the same room. Kind of like if you hear in the background, guys, I have my Pecrons running. Yeah, see, those chargers are kind of noisy, but I only use them when the sun's not cooperating. But here's a huge thing, guys. 6-year warranty, 3,000 plus life cycles. 6 years is a long time. Being that lithium iron phosphate batteries, if you charge them and discharge them every single day for 10 years, that's usually about how long they last before they drop down to 80%. Being that the Bluetti covers 6 years of that already on a warranty, that's pretty good. The dust proof and the water resistant, that I'm really interested in, because that's something new that I've seen to power stations where you on most power stations you don't get that option. So we'll see how well that works here in their advertising here. So here's their Bluetti AC60 popping out of the sand now. Now that would be hell of interesting, because sand is an enemy of electronics, and so is metal shavings in workshops. They can really, they can really tear up a board inside, because the properties of both are just not friendly to electronics. I do have questions about the fan though. I wonder what they put by the fan that would keep dust and things out of that, because blowing dust really can get in just about everything. Those of us who have been to the beach know what I'm talking about. So I'd really be curious to see what they put in there. Maybe some kind of a filter, but then sometimes when you put a filter on a fan, the air doesn't flow through as freely, so you're kind of constricted, so you have to pull or push the air in harder than normal to get it through that filter. But we're going to have to wait and see. This just dropped, I believe, today. I was watching the Bluetti stream and this popped out. Okay, so here's a picture of the inside of it now. Okay, let's take a look here. It looked like the rain can go literally through the fan. Okay, this is very interesting here. So it's saying water can go through the fan, through the cooling fins, and out the other side. I've never seen water travel that far through any device, but who knows? Maybe that's a hell of a fan and it kind of tornadoes its way through there. Oh yeah, it seemed like it was waterproof surfaces. Okay, well, Bluetti, you have my attention now with that. That I like. It says withstands all the elements with a well-designed structure. Okay, well, this is getting my attention. Flexible capacity for longer stay. Add on 2 B80 packs. So here, I guess this is what the packs look like. So it looks basically like almost a clone of itself, just without all the ports. Well, that's interesting though, because it can be small, medium, or large, I guess, depending on what your need is. Okay, that's interesting. 600 watt output. I wonder if that goes up when you add the rest of the batteries though. It would be nice to have a little bit more output. These things I never really trust, because a mini fridge, my mini fridge only uses 35 watts, so that would obviously go to about 8 or 9 hours. That would be better, of course, but it all depends on like what size blender you have. How big is your mobile phone? I've seen some mobile phones really eat up some power. 15 watt light, at least they have the wattage there, but you know, sometimes you have LED lights, and you know, my LED lights in my RV only take about one to, I think, 1 to 6 watts on high, and they're pretty bright, so that would almost triple that to 90 hours. Okay, so let's see here. Now here's the B80 battery, the 806 watt-hour capacity to add on to AC60, or you can use it as a standalone power bank. So what I like about that is that's basically like a miniature version of like the B230 or the B300 or the B300S. So that's nice, but it does seem to have a lot of ports on there. This looks like a foldable handle right here that kind of pops up and you can carry it. And then I'm assuming this is your data link cable that connects this to the main IP65 rated, which is water resistant. That's definitely not waterproof, guys. It's water resistant. That's a big thing to remember. The ratings, they have that listed on the internet. You can look that up. Like IP68 is hella waterproof good. But IP65 is kind of like what you see on a lot of the solar panels that are foldable. So we'll have to wait and see that. I do like that you can use it by itself if you wish. See, here's your 10 years lifespan. That's usually typical for lithium iron phosphate. But this 6-year warranty, guys, that's a hell of a warranty. It really is, especially at a small little box like that. It is using the bigger cells here. The board looks pretty clean. It looks pretty clean. Here you got cooling fins on the side, and all your capacitors and stuff are lined up nice. Here's a cooling fan. I don't really know what these circle curl things are, but I'm not too much of a circuit board guy when it comes to power stations. I'm more of an audio guy, so some of this stuff I don't recognize. These, I believe, are capacitors. Cooling fins, obviously. But yeah, we have to. But I'd like to open one of these and see what's all in there. Okay, and it says here, it says safer, more durable. Adopting the safest LiFePO 4 batteries as its core, the AC60 has a longer lifespan and greater durability. Coupled with the intelligent BMS battery management system, it works efficiently without safety hazard. So the BMS is basically what it, you know, when the energy comes in, it tells the energy where to go. It manages the entire cell pack and then says, hey, you go there, you go there. You go there, you go there. You know what I mean. So until the entire battery is full, that's the job of the BMS. And then the job of the MPPT controller is to regulate the flow at most efficiently that it can to work with the BMS, so that way you can get your batteries charged and, you know, get your butt back on that road in no time. Starting from 600 watts to a 1200 watt output. Okay, so this is my question: is it 1200 surge or is it 1200 all the time? I believe that's a surge, but I don't know yet. Let's see. AC60 enables you to enjoy the outdoors and the comforts of home. It can power your ice maker, refrigerator, small blender, rice cooker, electric blanket, not to mention small devices like laptop phones, laptops. Here you got the drone. That's a DJI drone, it looks like. So it looks like you power a lot. Oh, yep, see, here it is. So lifting power. Okay, so your rated power is 600. That means you're going to use up to 600 watts continuously, and then lifting power, it kind of gives it a boost. 9 output ports. We'll get to the ports as soon as it lists them down here. Here it says you could run a 1000 watt coffee maker with the powerlifting mode, 1080 watt drill, 950 watt sandwich grill. And then obviously if you only have the main system, that will not last very long, because if you have a 400 watt hour power station and you pull 1000 watts out of it, that's not going to last very long, maybe 15-20 minutes tops, depending on how power efficient the pull is. It does say 1200 watts here. I think that, oh yeah, that's the powerlifting mode. Okay, and then here you got 600 watts super fast charging. That's that's not bad for when you have 400 watt hours, but when you get to 2000 watt hours, if you max out the system, the 600, I kind of wish it was a little bit bigger, but I understand it starts out as a small station, and it says 0 to 80 in 45 minutes. I've never been a fan of 0 to 80. That's the quick charge, and then after 80%, a charger has to slow down. Kind of like, if you guys remember that video I made of the soda where you pour it in the glass, and if you pour it too fast, the bubbles go over the top and kind of, you know, boom, there goes your battery. So the BMS and the MPPT has to slow down so your battery doesn't overexert itself and get filled too fast, create too much resistance and heat and the whole 9 yards. But Yeah, I was never a fan of those ratings, 0 to 80. I want what it is, a full, you know, a full charge. So here you got 3 times faster, 1.2 hours, and then they always do others, but they, of course, they never tell you, you know, what the others were. Like my ACOUCOU P2001, I can charge it in about an hour and a half, about an hour and 40 minutes, and that's 2,000 watt hours. So, but that's a bigger power station, though, guys. So here you got, you could power from the generator. This looks like the Honda E2000i. I have that. Then you have 12 volt to 24 volt car charging. That's nice to have the 24 volt because some RVs have a higher voltage, or some big trucks. Some people run dual alternators and things like that, or just a larger alternator. What allows you to bring out more voltage, and that way you get a little bit more power out of the kind of cigarette lighters and ports that you have, whether you have Anderson power pole, or if you have, I don't think you have like MC4s in your car. I do for my speakers. I've started using MC4 for my speaker hookups, my 6x9s in the back. Then you have, let's see, solar charging up to 200 watt max. Okay, so the 200 watt max, if that's only for the small unit, then I'm okay. It'll charge in about 3.5 hours, which isn't too much. It's not too fast. It seems a little low to me. But 200 watt max, you know, divided by a 2,000 watt power station, you know, that's going to be way more than this 3.5. I'm assuming that's going to be 5-6 hours. So we have to wait and see. Like I said, this is all just like pre-ads for this AC60. 600 watt max from the wall. That I like a lot, and there's no power box, no lunch boxes. That's a huge plus in a power station, guys, because it's just one less thing you have to carry. That cord you could roll up and put in your pocket, but you can't put a big charging brick in your pocket. That means you got to carry it in a separate bag, and it's just extra stuff you got to lug around. Alright, so let's see. The apps, Bluetti's always been pretty decent on their apps. The apps allow you to update the firmwares. That way, if they have any bugs or glitches in their system, they can fix them via the firmware. That's nice. With the firmware, it tells you here's your solar panel coming in, here's your grid coming in, which is your wall. This is DC voltage or wattage going out. This is AC wattage going out. What's nice is you can also turn on the AC from this. So let's say you had this across the room, and say you woke up in an RV and you're like, the power station's all the way across. You don't want to get out of bed because it's a little chilly, and you have your power station hooked to like maybe a small electric blanket or a heater, you know, just how about a coffee pot? And you can literally pick up your phone and turn it on, and then you could turn on your coffee pot, and that way you're not using that vampire device to eat away that extra energy. You turn it on when you need it, right? So you can just go boop, and there your coffee's made, or your hot chocolate in my case, and it's ready, you know, by the time you get out of bed and it's nice and warm. Okay, of course you got the musicians. Everybody's a lot of portable stuff. I've seen people in the DJ world now using power stations to power. JBL makes great towers. Those little party boxes, they sound phenomenal for what they are. Little box that sounds like a concert in there. Here's your plugs. So you have a barrel. I'm going to assume so far that that's an 8mm barrel plug right there. And then these are MC4 connectors, which are usually the industry standard for most installs of solar panels. So most panels come with that. The older panels came with power pole, or I forgot that other one that Radio Shack had. Harbor Freight has it all the time. I hate that connection. It's like an Indian and Audi. I never liked it. I always forget the name of it. So here's your probably, I'm guessing, your 8mm plug with your 12 or 24 volt car charger. That's nice to have that 24 volt, like I said. And then you see how small this cable is, guys? It's small, it's dinky, and it fits in your pocket. You can't ask for a better charging option than that. Then you get obviously all your probably warranty card, your instruction booklet, and I don't know what this is. Maybe it's a Bluetti sticker. The power station looks very clean. The power meter looks very clean. I've seen that on other meters. I think the EB3A has the same or very similar screen to it. The buttons are clean. It looks like you have 2 AC receptacles, and then these, I'm assuming, are USB. I can't see it yet until I get down to the specs. And then here's your cigarette output. I believe that's only 12 volt, but we'll know in a minute. And then I don't know if anything's on the side. I do see a little thing right here. I don't know what that screw is, but we'll see what that is. Okay, so here we get down to the brass tacks. This is my favorite section. You know, all the pictures are nice, but this is where the money is, guys. So you got 403 watt-hours. That's an 18 amp battery. Lithium iron phosphate batteries. 3,000 cycles to 80% original capacity. Recharge to 80% every 3 to 6 months. What that is, guys, is if you store it on a shelf and you don't use it, you want to drain it and fill it once every 3 to 6 months. I personally recommend doing it once a month. Kind of like a car battery, but those are deep cells. But I don't care. I drain and fill all my power stations at least once a month. It's just a habit I get into, and that way, if you get into the habit of it, you don't forget. I think that's important. So you have MPPT controller and the battery management system, and I love this. It says etc. So that's basically a system that so your battery doesn't explode. So you know that's a positive. So here's your AC outlets. You have 2 at 120 volts. I like the voltage. 5 amps each, which is 600 watts max. And you have a pure sine wave inverter, which that's the norm nowadays. I don't like modified sine at all. It's useful in an emergency, but I have too much expensive equipment. I do not mess with modified sine wave. I want a pure sine wave. It's safer for medical equipment. It's safer for expensive stuff. Laptops are pretty well protected because the energy has to go through your power brick, usually with a laptop. And going through the power brick, you have another layer of protection in case you get that power surge or that bad energy, if you know what I mean. Your surge power is 1200 watts. That's the powerlifting mode. USB-C port, 100 watt output max, which is probably 20 volts by 5 amps. That's industry standard now. Built-in eMark chip. Okay, that I got to research. That I personally don't know what that is. So I'm going to assume that's a newer chip that regulates the flow. But I have to look that up. USB-A ports, you got 2 at 5 volts at 3 amps, which makes some 15 watt outs. Those are typical. The speed chargers, I think, are usually like 18 watts. Here's your 12 volt DC. Okay, so you don't have your 24 volt out, you only have 24 volt input for charging. That's one 12 volt up to 10 amps, which is 120 watts. Car outlet, and it's regulated. That's a huge thing, guys. This word right here is make or break deal for a lot of people. If you put a small refrigerator to an unregulated outlet, what happens is the cycle, you know, refrigerators cycle. So as soon as it cools down, the compressor goes, okay, we have the air temperature where we need it. I'm going to sit back and idle or shut down completely, and your energy goes down to either nothing or almost nothing. And because of that, the power station, if it's not regulated, will think, okay, you don't need me anymore, I'm going to go and stand by or shut down. And that's a huge problem, because you're going to lose your beer, you're going to lose your steaks, you're going to lose your snacks and your munchies and your sandwiches. I guarantee it, especially on a hot day. So you always want to make sure nowadays that you get a regulated output. That's huge. That's a deal breaker for me if you don't have a regulated output. Then you have a wireless charging pad. It's 15 watts. Now with wireless charging, the efficiency, I'm just gonna be honest, it sucks right off the bat. It's more of an accessory that's nice to have. You know what I mean? It's about 50% efficient usually right off the bat, and then you have to go through your cases and how far it is away from the charger. So you're literally handicapped. If you put it on perfect, you're handicapped at about 50% output. So you're probably going to draw probably about 7-8 watts output through your phone and your case and your battery and everything, and that little coil that's inside the battery, that actually is the wireless charging antenna device. But yeah, so it's a nice amenity to have, but as far as efficiency, yuck. But it does work. It does work. If I had a choice between that and a USB-C all day, especially at 100 foot. If my phone could suck in 20 volts at 5 amps, believe me, I'd be taking that. Okay, so your input is 600 watt max. That's the AC. That's from the wall. or a power inverter or a generator or whatever, that's 600 watt max. Solar input is only 200 watt max. I'm not a fan of that. I'm not. It is a small power station, but if you extend this up to 2,000 watts, that's a hell of a long time to charge. The VOC is from 12 to 28 volts. It's kind of low again. That you're looking at a 12 volt panel basically at 8 amps. The car input is the 12 to 24 volt from the cigarette lighter port, as I was talking about. Max input either way is 600. So you have recharge time 1.2 to 1.7 hours, 600 watt and turbo charging. Your solar panels is 2.5 to 3 hours at 200 watt max. I have a feeling that recharge time, they're referring to one AC60. I don't think those hours obviously is going to reflect the 2,000 watt hours that you can make the system when it's complete. Pass-through charging, that's another huge option you want to look for. Pass-through is fantastic. That means it doesn't eat up the battery. It goes right from the walls as it comes in. It cycles through the battery and goes right through. But you're not draining that battery all the time. Weight is just under 19 pounds, 8.6 kilograms. Dimensions, you have 11.3 inches by 8.5 inches by 9.7 inches. And Bluetti, thank you very much for putting the inches, the English metrics there, because the millimeters, they always over the years have confused the GBs out of me. I got to look them up, so I'm very happy that they started putting them on there. Sometimes they don't, because they don't use that over in China and other countries. They use the metric system. Operating temperature is -4 to 104 Fahrenheit, which is 20 to 40 Celsius. The -4 is fantastic. I mean, you're talking about below freezing now, that you can still use a power station during normal operating procedures. That's nice. That's a nice thing to have, because a lot of them cut off right at 0, and they said, you know, don't use this in the cold. So maybe they have a little bit more protection in there. I don't know if it has lower high temperature cutoffs for the charging. It doesn't say. Storage temperature is usually, now here's where your freezing is, 32 degrees Fahrenheit to 104. So you can use it, you can operate it down to -4, which is very, very nice, very, very nice. But when you store it, you don't want to go less than freezing. And then if you store it, guys, and if you did store it by accident below freezing, do yourself a favor and let it sit in a warm environment for a few hours before you turn it on. What happens is, in a cold circuit board or a cold device, when you turn it on and heat it up very quickly, you have two atmospheres fighting each other, and that creates condensation. Now the condensate, which is basically water, when it creates the condensation, it sticks or drips to the boards or builds up on the boards, and it can short out your entire system. So you want to watch out for that. It's got all the certifications, including California Prop 65. This Prop 65 literally, in a nutshell, tells you that if you eat, drink, use anything in the entire world, it'll cause cancer. You can research that if you want. And the warranty is 6 years. Guys, overall, I think this is a pretty neat little device. I think it's small, but can be expanded like that. I do think that's like kind of a sweet spot where, you know, say you just want to grab, you know, this little guy and you want to go for a hike and do some fishing. You know, you don't have to carry a 2,000 watt power station at 50 pounds. You carry a little 19 watt that's water resistant, right? You set it next to where you're fishing. Boom, you got your radio, you got your phone, and you got whatever you need. A lantern at night if you fish at night. This I'd like to check. I'd like to see how waterproof these ports are too. Bluetti is known for having those little rubber flaps, so maybe they came up, it looks like they're a little bit more beefy on these flaps here, so hopefully they have a better way to protect that from water splashing on there. Oh, and then here's the side over here. So I didn't know there's a button on the side. It doesn't say what that is. I'm gonna take a guess, guys. I can't pause this video. Maybe, possibly, I don't know, ground screw or a circuit reset. I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna lean more towards the circuit reset. because it looks like the power button is right here. Yeah, that's the power. So it's not listed what that is. So I'm going to say a fuse or a circuit or possibly a ground screw? Question mark? I don't know, because it literally doesn't say, or I missed it somewhere in here. This is very interesting too, guys. This is interesting because that's the last place you want to have a power station, is next to metal shavings or sand. Those are the two worst things you can do to electronics. Sand sucks and metal shavings are worse. So if you work in a machine shop, watch out for those metal shavings, guys. Alright, well that's all the info I have. They don't have a listing price so far, but maybe I'll talk to them on the next stream and see what that goes for. But well, I hope you guys like this. It was just kind of a kind of a run through, just to kind of see what this new power station entails. If it's something that you need, go over to Bluetti.com. I don't have a link for it because I don't think it's out yet. I just happened to see it on the stream tonight. I got excited. I always get excited when there's a new power station out there, big or small. I like the large ones. I'm really a fan of 8 kilowatts or bigger now, or modular systems where you can build them, bigger. But I do have a place in my heart for the smaller ones because they're so portable, guys. They're so easy to carry around. Toss in your car, leave it in your trunk for a vacation, and boom, now you have a backup battery for your phone, your lights, your camping gear, as long as it's small, your laptop, or just whatever the everyday uses that people would have with that. But yeah, so far I like it. I can't wait to see it in person somewhere. I'd love to review Bluetti products. I'd love to personally. I don't personally own any Bluetti power stations. I'm really about to pull the trigger on that AC300 or the AC500, and I just haven't yet. I picked up that Pecron. I'm very happy with that, so that kind of slowed me down. But I am still looking, because I need another one. But I'm thinking about either getting another Pecron or the AC300 with all 4 batteries. But you're talking $10,000. So that's going to take a few days to raise that money. A few days. And what I mean by that is a lot of months. So, all right, guys. Well, I hope you like this early access. I think it is. I think it's early access anyway. It's the first time I saw it. But leave your comments. Things you like, things you don't. If you guys have any idea what the hell that little silver thing is over here on the side of this thing, right here. We gotta wait till the video goes again. If you guys know what the hell that is, please let me know. I didn't see it. This right here, guys, I'm gonna say a ground or a circuit breaker, but I don't know because it didn't list it in there. Alright, guys, ramble on, be safe, like the video, become a subscriber. We're building a family, and hopefully we can get a bunch of people together where we help each other decide what power station is correct for you, or all the other stuff that we review on the channel. There's all kinds of crazy stuff we're putting on the channel. And I hope you're finding something of value here, guys. Alright, ramble on, be safe, and I'll see you guys again. Bye!